In the northern section of the triangle-shaped marsh, the team is looking for other potential caches of hidden goods. They found a piece of shaped wood 3 feet underground, which may be connected to a building nearer the surface or another one farther below. The group is committed to finding solutions, and, as the excavation progresses, archaeologist Jack Begley teams up with archaeologist Fiona Steele and her assistant Todd Langth to examine a mysterious circular foundation close to the shore. The test pit's objective is to determine whether the gap in the rocks serves as an entrance. The fact that this is the section of the entire edifice that has been located is an added benefit. The crew has found man-made mortar that matches soils from over 100 feet deep in the money pit. Additionally, some portions of the feature, as well as a variety of coins and antiquities from the 14th to the 18th centuries, have been unearthed in the money pit area, according to legend. However, new evidence suggests that the Romans may have also been on Oak Island. The search for these artifacts was difficult and nearly cost a man his life. One of the biggest mysteries of all is Bole 10X, a deep, dangerous, water-filled shaft that has been the focus of treasure hunters for decades. 80's Dan Blanken's ship is one of Oak Island's most devoted. Because borehole 10X is 235 feet deep and begins with a 181-foot vertical drop through a reinforced steel and concrete shaft, it was not an easy excavation, despite searchers' belief that it could lead to whatever was very deep down. Narrows into a tunnel that is barely 27 inches wide, 44 tons long, and completely obscured by murky water with no light. 2 professional divers, Harvey Morash and Michael Gartz, were brought in to investigate 10X by the Lagena brothers. They were aware of the risks but were unprepared for what transpired. Michael would act as a safety diver while Harvey descended, and the crew on the surface would stay in touch through an underwater communication system. However, things started to fall apart a few minutes into the dive with no signal or voice. The team on the surface had no idea if my Michael was safe, and they tried to call his name but could not find him. In summary, Oak Island has been a mystery for centuries, with legends suggesting Vikings sailed there before Columbus, the lost treasure of the Knights Templar, and pirates buried gold deep underground. The mysterious Boral 10X remains a mystery, and the Lagena brothers' plan to explore it was not well prepared for the risks involved. The team was in a panic as they were underwater, unable to communicate or find Michael. They tried tapping on the pipe to send signals, but no sign of him. The surface people were tense as they couldn't shoot straight up due to the dangerous decompression stops needed to prevent serious health risks. Everyone exhaled in relief as a light appeared beneath the water's surface. Harvey had descended quite a distance, but conditions worsened inside the tunnel's narrow section, where there was no visibility and thick silt clouds made it impossible to see any objects or shapes. Island. Some contend that they came via trade routes much later in history, maybe during the era of European exploration. Others propose that this could indicate that the Romans or someone with a weapon came to this region of the world much before the Vikings or Columbus. Researchers continue to debate the famous lead cross found at Smith's Cove. One theory suggests it may be even older, possibly dating back to the Roman era, while another links it to the Knights Templar, a mysterious order that allegedly traveled across the Atlantic to hide their treasures. One of the largest debates in the history of the island has been raised by the discovery of the Oak Island sword, which has raised questions about whether the Romans actually lived there. The island is known for presenting items that don't make sense, including what some people claim to be Roman artifacts. The little North American island of Oak Island has been the scene of several archaeological disc finds and discussions. After the cross was examined, the lead composition was linked to southern France, which was formerly a Roman colony. This could indicate that an expedition from antiquity arrived at Oak Island millennia before anybody else did. Researchers have been trying to read the inscriptions on the 90T stone found deep within the money pit for years, and some people think the markings resemble Phoenician or Roman Eros letters. This is another intriguing discovery. The odd stone platforms and roadways discovered beneath Smith's Cove were purposefully constructed by someone rather than existing naturally. Some academics think these structures mimic ancient European engineering and may be related to Roman aqueducts or highways. Another significant controversy arose when a Roman coin was purportedly discovered close to Oak Island, but its precise origin remained unknown. This begs the issue of why an ancient Roman coin would be in the vicinity of Oak Island. Although the enigmatic wreckage at Mahone Bay has not yet been thoroughly investigated, sonar scans indicate that it may be ancient, possibly dating back to the 1400s or earlier, predating Columbus. If there is any evidence linking this wreck to the Romans, it would be revolutionary, but others believe it may be far older and potentially connected to medieval or ancient seafaring fars. Strange discoveries on Oak Island, like wooden platforms and underground tunnels, imply that someone was around for a long period before the official chronology permits. The problem with that theory is that many of these artifacts and structures predate documented colonial history. The sheer number of unexplained artifacts and structures suggests someone was here long ago, whether it was explorers, treasure hunters, or an unidentified civilization history leaving its mark on the island. Skeptics contend that many of these Roy Taylor, after presenting the terms, leaves Rick to contemplate the magnitude of the decision. The gravity of the situation hangs in the air, and Rick is left to grapple with the potential impact on his gold mining journey. The allure of ownership clashes with the daunting prospect of financial responsibility, setting the stage for a pivotal moment in Rick Ness's mining saga. How will the mind boss navigate this unexpected twist in the tale? Will he seize the opportunity, or will the weight of the decision prove too much? The stakes are high, the pressure is on, and the future of Duncan Creek claims hangs in the balance, but it's the mind boss we're talking about. And to make the decision, he has to tackle the other obstacles first. Every miner knows that a glitch in the machinery can translate to lost time and, more importantly, lost gold. Despite heavy investments and state-of-the-art machinery worth millions, the results are not quite hitting the mark. It's a tough spot to be in, especially when your aspirations are as grand as Rick's. The machinery, boasting cutting-edge technology, stands as a testament to Rick's commitment. But, as every seasoned miner knows, the gold beneath the ground doesn't always give in easily. Rick is stuck dealing with a big problem, and he can't tackle it solo. He's in need of help, but the question is, who can he turn to? The first person who crosses Rick's mind in this. Since 2006, Rick and Marty Lagena and their partners have been exploring Oak Island in an effort to find a unique treasure. They have also researched the work of treasurers. They were preceded by hunters such as Gilbert Hedon, who excavated the Hedon shaft in the 1930s. It's likely not done by them or their father. The first log that was discovered is well made and consists of two parts: platform logs that sit on top of the carry logs and carry logs that support the structure. Many of these logs are running in this direction, and there is another one there. The purpose of the purposeful layer of stones that Alex saw at the bottom of the dig is unknown, although it would be quite heavy. Elle finds it strange, but they now have enough for Dr. Spooner to provide a thorough assessment. They intend to invite Dr. Spooner in and collect organic samples that may be traced back in time to ascertain precisely what transpired here. In brief, the plot centers on Rick, his nephew Alex, Gary Drayton, a metal detection specialist, and Billy Gart, who are searching for clues regarding a mysterious cobblestone pathway in the swamp. They are eager to find out more about the enigmatic structure and the possible solutions it may contain. Because of its uncanny resemblance to the Masonic symbol known as the all-seeing eye, the Oak Island team named the mysterious circular formation they found in the triangle-shaped swamp the Eye of the Swamp. This is the first time they have ever found anything that points directly to the eye in a structure. The cores of Dr. Spooner reveal industrial activity. After examining biological materials, the team returning in 2019 looked into a puzzling circular formation in the triangle-shaped swamp and found a man-made formation of boulders they called the Eye of the Swamp. In the feature, Dr. Spooner gave the crew startling information regarding its probable creation date, which is thought to be between 1680 and 1700. After discovering iron tools in the round feature on Lot 5 that have been scientifically linked to William Phipps's birthplace, the team is now looking into the theory that the 17th century English politician and treasure hunter Sir William Phipps and his Masonic associate Captain Andrew Belcher buried a huge amount of treasure in the money pit. The group intends to provide these logs for dating. Some of these logs are big enough that the entire region appears to have a purpose, since, if it were 1680 or later, crossing a bog would require a platform from which to work. An FIPS connection could be one of the hypotheses. The team is committed to finding more metals and continuing to pull down this line. In order to investigate the mystery of the Eye of the Swamp and the possible relationship between the two artificial features, Bobby Dazzlers and Top Pocket Finds on a treasure hunt in Lot 5, which is on the western side of the island. Gary Drayton and Jack Begley are looking for clues in more than 10 tons of spoils that were recently taken from the nearby stone foundation. They discover an old button that they think is a banging signal in the area, where they have discovered numerous other artifacts. Gary is thrilled about the discovery of a hammered piece of silver, which they think may be a clue to what is happening on Lot 5. Gary is also excited about finding this old ammunition and hopes to find older artifacts that directly tie to who was present. Another button they find is a lead ball, which they believe is a piece of armament. When it returns to the lab, it will be tested and calibrated. The age of the coin and its possible affiliation with the original developer of the feature on Lot 5 might be ascertained if archaeologist Helen Sheldon is right, when she says that this piece suggests that there is some sort of treasure business occurring on Lot 5. Although Gary acknowledges that the silver coin has that appearance, they intend to return it so Emma can scan it to verify its validity and determine its age. Gary Drayton and Jack Begley are on a treasure hunt in Lot 5, which is on the western side of the island. They are looking through more than 10 tons of spoils that were recently removed from the stone foundation for clues. And they find a number of buttons, a lead ball. 4 people. His account is almost empty and he needs $1,000 per day to keep things going. He desperately needs the plant to run in the next couple of weeks to keep him from going bust. He takes them along to show his plant. He shows his screen deck and briefs them about its high frequency that vibrates to remove fine particles of gold, which is their main concern over there. He has also added a centrifugal concentrator, which helps to concentrate fine particles according to his research. Freddie explains the science behind the concentrator that contains a spinning bowl inside with fine holes drilled in it. The water pressure injects water from the holes, hoping to keep the gold pinned while blowing the lighter material out. Peter hopes the concentrator will work in his favor. He shows the tailing sluice for the concentrator. He hesitates to tell the total amount he has spent over there in front of the camera. He will be screwed if their plan does not work. They devise a plan to check the first test run for 6 hours. They will fix the problem after observing the total amount of gold in the first run before proceeding further to the second run, hoping to find a notable increase in Peter's final gold haul. They consider it a difficult spot where Peter has spent almost millions and gets nothing in return. They are all set to start their first run. Peter cues Lance to start the generator. Lance thinks of himself as the chief organizer among the crew, without whom every finishing table. He presses the lever and pours the bucket of material they have already cleaned up, just to see how much gold they have wasted during panning. It requires water, gravity, and vibration to shake heavy gold particles in the finishing table. They gather around the shaking table to see the process. Soon, they notice the gold to be accumulated, which requires almost 10 hours of panning, according to Lance. Peter looks a bit relieved to see the results coming. Freddie gives a little bottle to Peter to be filled with gold as a payment for everything, regardless of the amount of gold he gets. They lock a deal and move back to their venture. Freddie and Juan have completed their job as they have replaced the old blocked screens with custom-built larger mesh and prefer the finishing table to accumulate gold. It is time to test the final run to see if they have increased the total amount of gold. Peter runs the plant and it begins washing the pay dirt. They observe coarse tailings on the new screens to see if they are catching more of the fine material. They find it a lot better than the previous ones. Suddenly, Freddie notices that they are losing the fine material once again. Peter rushes to switch on the tailing